helpful as far as police. I don't know everything else.
Carly, I got it.
Okay, whenever you're
Thank
ready.
you.
Okay, want to call this meeting to order?
Does it right next to the.
Let's see, this is the park board meeting for, what is the day? Oh, July 9th, 2024. Okay, let's start with flag salute. Stephanie? Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
I won't ask you to give a speech or anything. Okay, it looks like we have a quorum, so we can get on with this. A call for other business items,
I would like to discuss the day in the park.
okay? And I would like to discuss them to move to Friday. So,
Well, we have a whole
Well,
agenda item
yeah.
regarding your organization.
Walk in the park and organization are already both on the
Oh.
agenda.
Should
Okay.
I put in an update about the grants and everything for the park? What's going on?
Yes,
that's,
yes, that should be in there, please.
of course, yeah.
I did put it in there, but I didn't think I was gonna have anything to update you on, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call for
Mike, before you get too far
Yeah.
along, can you call for a consent agenda and get your meeting minutes?
Oh,
Mhm.
okay, consent agenda, let's get the meetings from last meeting approved. All in favor?
How about a motion?
Oh,
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So be it. Okay, going on to board reports. Says it's optional, but, okay. Anybody have anything as a board member to report about, whatever you want to report about?
I didn't think this needed to be agenda item. This is kind of a follow-up of our last meeting when we had a discussion about, you know, the different little pocket parks and areas and whose responsibility for them and stuff. And just as a point of interest, I was getting my hair cut and with Sharon Peterson right downtown, and she has two beautiful planters out in front of her house, and I was talking to her, or in front of the business. She takes really good care of them. So I reached out then to Di Morgan also, because I just wanted to make sure I reached out to everybody. Just saying, because two of them, when Sharon told me two of them where Harrod is, the people, they closed that business, so those beds, those old planters aren't being maintained. So I volunteer just as a personal citizen I adopted those two planters. And the thing I guess I want to share with the board is when I was talking to Di, that was one of the things, and then I talked to Brian Dennis afterwards too, so I'm trying to touch bases with everybody. There are other planters in other areas in the city that could use somebody to adopt them. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and maybe in the future we might have an adopt-a-planter program.
So technically, those are kind of managed by Common Ground.
Yes.
And Brian Dennis has been trying to kind of shuffle that
Yes.
responsibility off to someone.
Yes.
Um,
Right. It just kind of goes along with keeping a list of who's in charge of stuff. So I was glad to talk to all the people, and a couple people said thank you for reaching out and talking to us before, so which is good. So there's opportunities for people. Or if you know somebody that wants to do something, but there's just some nice little places that need to be watered or weeded or.
Is there a map or a list of all the planters and who owns them and this?
I'm working on that. That is
Oh,
one thing
okay.
I'm working on. Yeah.
I think
yeah.
that would be super helpful.
Yeah, so that will be helpful.
Yeah, the plan when we put those things in a few years ago was that they'd go in front of businesses and the businesses would take care of it.
Yes.
And so Di and I take care of ours, and the one that's kind of by the bank, it's around the corner. And so we take care of that, and Joan and Ken took care of theirs, but they're not going there anymore.
They're not there anymore.
Yeah,
so
so it's
I'm
kinda-
here and
yeah,
here in
okay,
town, so I'm
wonderful,
happy
yeah.
to volunteer to do
But
that.
I think that's the ones in front of the clinic look like they were a little rough the last time I drove by.
They
but-
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they
There's a
need to
couple of
take
them.
care of it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple
They
of them.
got hired people, they could do that.
Well, that's probably maintaining a planner is not in anybody's job description in a medical clinic,
True.
but,
Well,
you know,
yeah,
just
yeah,
saying.
yeah. Good point, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Try to remember that everybody that I always tell them, bring a couple of jugs of water. I bought the jugs and I forgot the water, so. I tried to do, this one out here at the Eagle or
Oh,
Eagle
good.
Valley, but it got too much. A couple of years ago, when we were going hot and heavy and those were looking so terrific,
Mhm.
was because we were coming down every other day.
And
it just
watering.
got
Unfortunately,
too
that's what it
limit
takes.
down, so,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do those planters drain at the bottom?
There's different ones. I understand there's different varieties of them, so
Yeah.
I can't answer that
It'd be
question.
interesting if you had something that was self-watering in a way so that the bottom could hold the water and the excess would drain out, and then the roots would stay up here but just go down and wick.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Well, they have.
Then people would only have to do it like once a week
Yeah.
or once a month.
They do have hugelkultur in
Yes.
They all do.
Yeah, but that won't be the bucket of water, right? That'll
No,
just be
but the
nutrition.
sticks and everything
Yeah.
hold all the
Yeah.
moisture for a longer period of time.
They do,
Fair.
yeah.
Technically, yes, but in this kind of heat and over the summer,
Yeah.
that's
There's no,
easier said than
no
what
way
really
you can
happens.
get around the
yeah.
watering right
the
now.
the old planters, the square or rectangular ones that are made of a composite, the way we dealt with that is we filled a bunch of styrofoam in the bottom and then planted on top.
Yeah, you could literally put a plastic
Yeah.
tray and that would do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're all falling apart, so, yeah. Okay, anybody else with, is this what we mean by board reports? Just whatever's on your mind? Oh, okay,
Anything that you do, I think that's park related within a month,
Yeah.
yeah,
okay, well,
or somewhat.
I've been putting the signs together for the Vision Toledo
There you
wine
go.
and cheese tasting thing happening on Saturday.
Excellent.
Yeah. But,
Okay.
I don't know, anybody else?
I've just been trying to save my starts that are planted late, so I've been
Oh.
putting up shade cloths and forgetting my sunscreen, and I don't know if I'm damaging myself more. That's all I've been up to.
Okay.
Okay.
Stephanie, anything besides what's on the agenda?
Not too much. Went down to the park and did see, did get to see Tim. The park looks great. And what I found out is that he had been sending the email reports and I was not in the loop.
Oh, okay.
So I'm now in the loop. So
Okay.
we
Good,
got that
good,
worked
good.
out. And he was
Nice.
worried because he said that it was.
Make Renee get on there, make sure he's.
I'm on there.
You're on there,
He
okay.
lobbied me when I got sworn in.
Okay, good. Good, good.
So I'm
Tim's
now
good
in the
at
loop
that.
of those emails. So
Good.
Good.
I did not know I was even missing.
And it's just his
Bad.
weekly report on what.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Apparently there's a vandalism issue going on in the bathrooms over there. He's
Sure.
Yes.
taken care of.
Always,
Yeah. That's an issue.
Okay, public hearings.
None.
Is that me then?
No.
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 Mm-mm.
No, not yet. New business, status of new reservation system.
Yeah.
Okay, how's that going?
So the biggest task left to do is to migrate all of the reservations from Firefly over to the new system, so we don't get into a double booking situation.
Yes.
But for the most part, it's set up and ready to go, so
You guys are happy with it?
very.
Yeah.
So why hasn't it been transferred over yet? It just
Because I
takes
haven't
time.
sat in front of my computer long enough.
It just
to do
takes
it.
time, yeah, okay.
Really?
Yeah, I was wondering if there was an issue,
No.
other
No.
than that.
Except time.
Oh, yeah, there's
Life.
that.
We're attempting to do this migration at the busiest time of the year, so.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
right,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's see, discussion board, park board organization.
I'm sorry, before we go on,
Oh.
do you need anything else from us? Do you guys need any other approvals or anything else from us, discussion or anything? Okay, thank you.
Okay, park board organization,
Mm-hmm.
what's the thought on that?
So, in your packets, which I didn't print out, but there's ordinances around this already. This is where you guys can talk about your criteria that you want for members. You can talk about the times in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I passed around what the planning commission has as an ordinance, so you guys can refer to kind of what they have That's what I put out in front of you, so.
Okay. Okay.
When I talk about Mike not being in compliance.
Oh, yeah. And then also,
Yes.
you need to be reaffirmed. I think you were reaffirmed in 2019. Yes. So at the next council meeting, we could do that.
Yeah, are you available on Monday?
Yeah, this next Monday? Yeah, yeah,
So,
I think so,
Yeah, if you
yeah.
could come to city council,
Okay.
then they'll
Okay,
re-swear at you.
6 p.m. Monday. July
Yeah.
13th, 14th, 15th. Yeah, that's our first day of Camp Picasso, so, but,
And we can also, Carly, we can make him the first agenda item, so he
Yeah.
doesn't have to stay for the whole meeting unless,
Yeah.
but it's a really light meeting on Monday,
oh,
so.
good, good. Okay.
So, I apologize. How long are terms for the park board? Are they all the same, or do they change? Are they rolling like some of the other ones?
It's complicated, the ordinance that is in your
That's
packet.
what I wasn't sure.
Um, It sounds, so there are 5 members.
Uh-huh.
2 that are on a 2-year term and 3 on a 3-year term.
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess that's also a decision you guys need to make. It's
Yeah.
like, which one, who wants to be? All of you are pretty, I mean, you're within the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Except for Mike, and Ruth. And I can't remember when Ruth started on the park board.
2 or 3 years ago.
It's been after?
Mhm.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay, so that's only.
Or at least I didn't see her.
Then you're
until-
coming up on a year-ish.
Yeah.
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 So, so you guys need to kind of decide
Okay.
who is a 2-year term and who's a 3-year term, and we'll just make sure that gets documented.
Well, the way that we work it with 2 organizations, Art Trails of Southwest Washington and the Lions Club, is that we have 9 board members, and each has a 3-year term, and we retire 1/3 every year. And so that you always have 6 or 2/3 of the group are experienced and know how the whole thing works, and the new one is coming in, and then he stays for 3 years, and they rotate around, and that seems to work pretty well. That's with 9 people. If we had 6 members of our board, we could do that with 2 at a time, and so just a thought.
Does anybody have a feel why they typically divide it up this way? Because like I'm looking at the one from the planning commission, and they've got 3 different buckets: 1-year term, 2-year terms, and 3-year terms. Anybody have a clue? Can any
All these
enlighten me?
ordinances were long before us. so I
Yes.
have no idea.
Okay. Okay.
But again, ordinances can change.
Yes.
So if that's,
Right.
I think it seems to be, the scheme seems to want to address the same issue Mike is talking about, whereas this issue of succession and people
Mhm.
being able to have the knowledge transfer and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Right.
That's probably part of it, is the knowledge transfer.
Mhm.
That's my thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we should stick with 5, an odd number, because that way we always have we can have a majority vote. I don't, unless like a chairperson didn't vote. I don't know, but I would stay with I would request, I don't know, we have a hard time getting people as it is, and I think so I would hate to make it larger. I think one of the things we should address is which citizens are involved, certainly, and then how long.
Yeah. So the way we have it now, we have you 3 are all live in the city, so no problem. The other option is the other 2 members can also live in the city, or they can be Lions Club members and not live in the city, or they could be Vision Toledo people and not live in the city. Yeah, and I happen to be Lions Club and Vision Toledo, so I satisfy that. that thing, though it doesn't have to be satisfied.
And
Right.
Ruth is in the city limits as well.
Yeah.
So,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
I
right
think-
now,
Yeah, I think the Lions Club and the Vision Toledo is more for flexibility and finding people.
Yes, and it's not that, and if I recall correctly, the verbiage in there says if desired
Right.
for the Lions
Right.
Club and Vision Toledo. It's not that they have to be on the board.
well,
It's if desired.
I'm not sure about that. I think the Lions Club, I think the idea is they had to be on the board. They had to have somebody from Lions Club, because the Lions Club got the whole thing going in the first place. And so that was, as I understand it, there's always been a Lions Club board member because of the connection to Lions Club.
That's not the way the
That's
ordinance
not,
read.
that's not the way the ordinance reads, though,
Okay.
yeah. It does specifically say, I understand that the history there and why they did that, but that's not what the ordinance reads, so, yeah.
Shows what I know.
You've only been doing this for like years.
Yeah.
But I certainly agree that I think that one person, if we have 5 board members, 3 have to be in the city. And I think that one person, if somebody is I don't know how you would do that, but certainly somebody from either the Lions Club or Vision Toledo. In my head, I kind of almost go Vision Toledo because Vision Toledo has more members. I would think, so we'd have a bigger pool
Well,
to draw from.
The difference between Vision Toledo and Lions Club is that
Mhm.
Vision Toledo doesn't have a membership.
Gotcha.
Whereas Lions Club does, you pay to
Gotcha.
be a member.
Okay.
Vision Toledo is just anybody who wants to be in Vision Toledo.
Right.
But I definitely think the majority needs to be from citizens of
Yeah.
the town.
I agree,
That
yeah.
would ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
And the ordinance reads that way.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, three members have to be within the city limits.
Within the city limits.
Okay.
Right now, we got 4, so that's perfect, or
Yeah.
not perfect, but
I like that. I like having a business person or some from the outside. If somebody having a business, but they could be outside the area. To me, the whole thing is they got to have some stake in the game here
right,
in
right.
Toledo, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind having an outside person if they're
If we
one
could
of.
get somebody from the Chamber of Commerce that would represent, except the Chamber of Commerce is more than just Toledo. And, yeah.
Well, I think we have to recognize that the city also serves a greater population than just the city. So it's important that the majority is city, but I think we have to allow for membership so that we hear from outside the city too, the surrounding area.
Right. That's the case with both Lions Club and
Yeah.
Vision Toledo. A very small, maybe 10% of both of those organizations live in the city.
Right. But I don't know about I'm not on board 100% with having a requirement that they have to be part of another particular organization. In that case, I think if it was from outside, if they were not in the city, they should have a business or something in the city.
So-
I think,
Help me.
again, I think the reason Vision Toledo and Lions Club was offered up as a
'Cause they are
potential
that.
pool, they're both volunteer organizations, and that's a pool of people that are willing to
Do stuff.
do stuff.
Right.
And I
So-
do see the connection for Lions Club, because they have poured money in to
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
Not just the resources of human volunteers, but actual financial.
Yeah.
And people have worked to specifically raise money in the Lions Club for specific things at the park and whatnot. So
Right.
Those restrooms.
I do
were-
see the connection there,
Mhm.
but I don't know about a requirement. But I do
Yeah.
like the idea that they kind of are on
Yeah.
that representation.
It's like a
Yeah.
degree of pre-vetting almost that's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those restrooms, when we built them 20 years or more ago, they were over $20,000, and a lot of it was volunteer. The Veterans Wall was over 30,000, and then the original kitchen, that was all Lions Club built that way back in the 50s.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's why they have a strong connection to this. But,
Mm-hmm. That's good.
yeah.
that's what builds things, though. That's, you know,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
connections, that's what
yeah.
builds things.
If you say, oh, we don't need those guys. well,
No,
then,
no,
okay.
not in a place like this.
Well, they both.
I mean,
both-
and I
both
say that
Vision-
positively.
Yeah, both Vision and Lions Club each donated $5,000 to this new handicap
Mhm.
playground,
Yep.
so,
More on
So-
that later.
yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Lots of discussion. Can anybody help narrow it down? I think we should try to get someplace. Anybody have an idea?
So our goal is to decide who's gonna have the term, the length, the term lengths.
And the population the 5 members are gonna draw from.
And do we have actually 5 members?
We do.
Okay, and the 5th member is
Ruth Kinder, who is Tim Kinder's
Kendra's
wife.
wife, yeah, and she works during the day, so.
Yeah, and part of this agenda item is also
Is
to.
Move to
We
Friday.
need to switch and talk about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm super clear now.
Of which I
Okay.
got
Do we know what
severely
her
admonished
preference
for.
is for the term? We don't?
No, we haven't had any, she hasn't been to any meetings for a long time.
So is that something we can make sure she gets, that question from us today? That she can answer via email or something, so that we at least know what she
question?
wants?
What question?
I
If
don't
she
know.
would prefer, what kind of term she would prefer to have?
I don't think you can do that.
No,
Yeah, since she's here, I mean, she's just not here,
that's it.
yeah.
Alright,
It's a
so,
voting thing, yeah.
so do we just each choose a term?
If you'd like.
I think so, yeah. And then we can
It's
pick
arbitrary.
one for the last one. So so keeping in mind the whole idea is succession. So
Yeah.
Mike, they're gonna swear at you again.
Yeah, yes.
So how long do you want to be on the board
I'll
for
just
now?
do the 1 year.
Are you serious?
No, it's 2 and 3.
Oh, what's it say here?
Oh, that's the planning commission.
This is for the
Oh,
planning commission.
That's
okay.
the planning commission.
Yeah, so do we have 0, and we're looking at this as a template for our own?
No.
Correct, because,
Yeah,
because all of you, except for Mike, came onto the board after an administration turnover. And so
I should look
no
back
one,
and
no one
see.
got identified.
Okay, that's, so what I'm asking, what I'm.
We're starting all over.
Right, we're starting all over to make our own of these.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well-
mean, if you're proposing, if that ordinance still is valid,
Yes,
then here we are. And you just need to choose your terms.
we just need to choose our terms, because
I think-
after,
I think Mary was hinting at potentially changing the pool idea, but you have a full board right now,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
You're
Yes,
right,
yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
and everybody's aware that after the term, you then serve for a period of 4 years.
It's 2 and 3, isn't it?
It says each appointment of citizens thereafter shall be.
That's planning.
Oh,
That's
okay,
planning
that's
commission.
just planning commission.
Yeah.
I see.
I requested the planning commission one as kind of a guide to see what other the commission in the city
I
is
thought they
doing,
were
so
similar,
we are
okay.
kind of mirroring them a little bit, just
Thank you.
so that
So
we're not
three
off on our
members of the committee shall be appointed for an initial 2-year term, and the
Mhm.
remaining shall be appointed for a 3-year term. Upon expiration of the terms of the initial members, vacancies thereby created shall be filled for a full 3-year term. So three of you will elect a 2-year term, and then in 2 years, if you choose to continue, then you'll roll to a 3-year.
Hmm.
And any person that comes in to a vacancy will be a two-year term.
Okay, and can we always, if we say, I wanna have a 3-year term, and something comes up, you can always say, I can't, okay. So I'll do the 3-year term,
Mhm.
if
yeah,
that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it too.
I'll do 3 or 2 or 1 or
Be decisive, Mike.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. Gonna-
If they're all going 3, I'll go 2.
Okay.
No, I went to.
You want 2?
Yeah,
Okay,
there are 3 for,
3 threes.
so.
Renee and I will
There should
go.
be 3 2s and 2 3s.
Okay, I'll go for 2.
Okay, and then Ruth is
Give-
also 2.
There you go.
Okay.
And you guys both have
But
3.
you want to be 2.
Yeah.
So 2, Ruth is 2, you 2 are 3s.
2 and 3.
Didn't you say 3 threes?
No,
3 2s, 3
Oh.
2s, 2 3s.
This
Let's
is
make
great.
this as confusing as possible.
We are all the brightest bulbs in the bunch here.
Who's on first?
Got it.
Glad
Okay.
this isn't on
Okay.
Zoom or anything here.
Great.
So since we have a pool, or since our board is filled and with the way our rules are now, I guess we can just leave it as it is. Unless you guys want to change who we draw from.
Always nice not to have to change an ordinance.
Yes. The one thing about the ordinance, I think we should update it anyway, because we should put in the terms, maybe. I don't know, but we should update it because there's some verbiage in there that is not consistent. The ordinance isn't written very well. When they talk about they are confusing, and they're talking about a board in one part. This is a planning board, this is a planning commission. But then in the ordinance, they're actually talking about a committee.
Oh, sure.
An advisory committee, so we need to make sure that the terminology
Yeah, I
is
spotted that,
defined
yeah,
Okay,
and consistent throughout.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, thank you.
A lot of times there's a definition of,
Yeah, the
Nomenclature.
definition section wasn't
Yeah.
good.
Ignored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the definition section wasn't good.
So true.
Then the next thing on this is actually our board, and being on the board, and when we're gonna have our board meetings, because we have this issue
right.
with
I'd like to move that we move this meeting, the park board meeting, to a Friday at 3:00, just the same time, but on Fridays.
And Ruth can make that.
And yes, for them.
Great.
Yeah, because I think we want to keep them connected to the board since they're running the park.
Yes.
I cannot make Fridays.
Right.
I cannot either.
Right. Friday, I believe that Friday is a bad day.
Okay.
I understand the issues with them, and it is unfortunate. That said, we've been working okay without that. I would recommend, in order to get around that maybe, and to make sure that they're available, and Tim is so good about coming to the council meetings and keeping in touch with us, can we put them, the park hosts, on as advisory? In the current ordinance, it has the Public Works and one other person
Council member.
and a council member as an advisory. So couldn't they be put on as advisory? Because that's really the position that's really what they do. They advise the city and us, but the city too, what is needed at the park. And that way we really can keep them involved without having to burden them. Not that it should be a burden to anybody, but,
Yeah.
and then that way maybe we can get another person then that could
Yeah.
attend more.
Like,
Carly, how do you feel about an evening meeting?
I don't mind. I'm fine with
So maybe.
I'd be
like
happy to
6
do
o'clock
an
or
evening.
something?
Mhm.
That would be so much better for me. I mean, I'm lucky to be here because normally I'm stuck in meetings since like 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. almost. So.
So the second Tuesday at 6? Just
I-
move the time?
Let me think.
I would go with that.
Oh, that's right, you have other meetings
Vision
on
Toledo,
Tuesdays.
Vision Toledo is
The end of
on
the
a
month.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
but it's at the end of the month. History is at the end of the month.
Yeah, and that's-
Lions Club is at the beginning of the month.
When, is it on Tuesdays, Lions Club?
No, it's always on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that, you're free and clear.
Yeah. We could do it on a Tuesday at 6.
Okay.
That would be so much better.
Mhm.
Second Tuesday at 6?
Like we've always done, a second Tuesday, but.
But
instead
just
of-
at 6, yeah.
instead of
And it will help us in the future, I think, getting to fill, if we change Ruth from just, a board member, she can be advisory to us, and then that would give us another position available, and we'd be better able to fill that. And then we can get more.
Well,
parks
right
or
now,
something.
Ruth is a member of the board, so.
Right.
So when we have next month in August, we have our meeting, assuming that it's approved by the council.
Actually, you're just informing council of the change.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's no mandate to.
So we have to, I believe we have to make a motion to change the
Yes.
ordinance.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we change the ordinance we keep in that the citizens have, 3 citizens have 2-year terms, and 2 citizens have 3-year terms. And I also, then we have the park hosts, our Lewis Campground Park hosts be part of our advisory team. And anybody else have anything that?
And move to-
And we fix the language,
Yeah, okay.
And move the time, or is
And-
that even in
yes.
the ordinance?
move the time.
Yeah.
Let's put it in there, let's get that down so that it's
It's a big-
public.
It's a big motion.
It is. Do
Should
I
we
have to
split
make
the
separate ones? Should I make
No,
separate
you can
ones?
do that all in one word. We can multitask.
I don't know, we're smart people.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You're
that's
also
my
making-
motion.
Yeah, you are making the assumption that Ruth does not want to be a board member. And
Yeah, that's what I was-
You're basically firing her.
That's what I was
That's not up
thinking.
to us, that is up to the mayor.
But I thought what would happen is we would sort of take this particular situation of making them advisory as a motion that we will put on the agenda for next time to vote on, and she would be a part of that, she should be able to make the meeting. That's kind of what I was,
Yes.
So with your motion, just leave the advisory part of it out of it.
Okay, I
at this
revised
point. Yeah.
I revised my motion to leave the advisory part out of it.
I second the motion.
You writing this all down? Just don't even mention it yet.
it's all recorded.
It's all recorded, it's good.
Okay,
So somebody can
is-
figure out what we're talking about.
okay, but first, there's already a motion on the floor to
And we
move
need
it
to
to
vote.
Friday. Was there a second?
I second the motion
Uh-huh.
Oh, for the Friday,
for the Friday.
okay.
Mary ganged it all up.
I ganged it, I put it all
But she
together.
put it on
And
Tuesday.
then I took, oh no, that was for Friday.
Oh, that was for Friday?
That's for Friday. I put everything in one and I took out the advisory part of it
Okay.
for the Parks
I
Board.
thought we just talked that we were gonna do it Tuesday at 6.
Doing Tuesday.
Tuesdays at 6.
Tuesday is
Tuesdays
6.
at 6, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And your motion said that.
Says
Tuesday
that.
at 6.
You-
Yeah.
yeah.
But there had already been a motion. Yeah, I made the motion.
Where?
I moved that we do it on Friday. And
It wasn't ever seconded.
And there was not a second.
That's right.
So I was asking for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, but you just seconded
I
it.
seconded her.
Oh, okay.
It was an
Now
implied.
let's second
All
it.
right, then it
Was an
dies
implied
if it
denial.
comes second, okay. We gotta do this by the rules.
I know, we do, Mike.
Do
Okay.
we have a list of the rules?
Now then, yeah.
That's why we have Cindy
That's
and Carly.
Robert's Rules of
I
Order.
gotta finish my training, that's what's wrong. Okay.
Robert's Rules of Order. Okay, so, Mary's has a first, has moved and it's seconded that we, move to Tuesday at 6 o'clock, have, 2 members for 3 years and 3 members at 2 years, and anything else?
Just
And correct the
Correct the
wording of the
ordinance.
ordinance.
correct the wording of the
Yeah.
ordinance.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. You didn't like that?
What?
What?
He ayed.
I did, I.
Oh, you
Quietly.
did? Oh.
Yes, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
like
I
dealing
just
with-
didn't name.
Like dealing with,
Just in May, yeah.
like dealing with 6th graders.
It is, Mike.
Aye.
It really is.
If not worse.
Okay, this, can we move on?
Yeah.
Okay, discussion of possible changes to kitchen rental.
So the new reservation system allows for under 24-hour periods for rentals. And that was one of the pluses of going with this, is potentially getting more use out of the kitchen.
Right.
But that adds complication to the kitchen, so that's why it's in front of you
Okay.
as something to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the discussion, as I understood it, was how long and what do we do about overlaps and cleaning? Yep.
Correct. Yep.
All good points.
Those
All good
three
points.
items.
Yeah.
How much of a problem has this been in the past?
Well, it hasn't been a problem because it never has been an option
Right.
to split up the day.
Right. Right.
What we don't know and what we don't have data for is, on average, when do those groups arrive and leave? My hunch is it's a middle of a day type rental.
Yeah.
So I don't know if mornings really aren't attractive to anyone, maybe this is a moot point that we're discussing it, so.
Well, I think when we discussed this earlier, I gave the example of our Steamboat Landing, how we rent it. And we rent it by the hour, so that it's possible that two groups could rent it in the same day. That's never happened, but it's possible. And,
And
but
do you do a buffer between, do you have a built-in
Yeah.
buffer between?
An hour or two, like in between groups
it's
for
never
cleaning.
come up.
Or,
It's never come up.
oh,
So, but if it were, say, for example, we had a homeowners group was in there from 11 till 1. And if somebody else wanted to rent it, well, they'd have to wait at least an hour until they got out of the building. But I'd just tell them, well, it's already rented till 2. Can you come in at 3 or whatever? Take it on it, case by case.
Yeah, it also
Yeah.
needs to be a non-touch,
yeah,
a non-touch reservation.
right.
So people are making these reservations on
They
their
make-
own, they're not calling City Hall,
Right.
setting them up, so.
Mhm.
So that reservation would have to tell the people that it's been rented from 1 hour
Well,
to the
either
next.
that or you do blocks of time, so is there a
Yeah.
morning rental and an afternoon rental? And the question is how long are those rentals?
Yeah.
What about a day and night? So if your thing is, the problem, it's say 11:30 or 11 to 3, your next rental for the evening would be 5 to,
Yeah.
that gives you a
That's an
little
option.
buffer?
That's an option.
Just divide it into standard blocks, so everybody, you either take the block or not, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, what I found too is that people will say, well, we'd like to rent it for like 5 or 6 hours. Can we come in early and decorate?
Right.
And I say,
Right.
okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not that big a deal to me, but,
Like I said, this is complicated.
yeah.
It is.
Do we have any data of what the actual,
That's what I was wondering.
frequency of the rental is at all?
Oh, frequency
Yeah.
in the summer, every Saturday and Sunday.
And is it booked
Every.
2 parties, 1 party, like?
The current
At the-
reservation system only allows for a 24-hour rental.
Okay, so it's booked.
One party, one day.
Right,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
And yeah, from the end of May all the way through September, the weekends are always booked.
And are we thinking, well, I guess we're just discussing, but the idea of managing blocks within a day seems to really complicate this. And so
Mhm.
keeping it as a single day makes it very, at least there's a giant buffer of time in between to see if there's a disaster before if something happens, we can mitigate.
Mhm.
And instead of making it 24 hours, could we bound it to the day
Daylight hours.
or reasonable? I don't know if do they do night, is it allowed to have, are you allowed to have a party at night there or something like that?
Again, I don't have that data, because we're
I
actually
know
not
that
to-
on Thursday, it will be,
Well, sure,
that's a full day
yes,
Right.
usage of the park. Yeah.
yes.
And how, are you allowed to be in the park at any hour?
There's no curfew that
Yeah.
I'm aware of.
Yeah.
No, no curfew.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess they could just have a party that would
Now,
last.
I mean, you need to
through the
be
night.
somewhat respectful of any campers at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you
Sure.
know, there's gotta be maybe, actually, there are quiet hours. It's
Could be
10
10 o'clock.
This is what I was,
Sorry,
okay.
Yes, quiet
2,
hours from
2.
10 to 6, is that right? 10
I
to
think
7?
so.
I can't remember.
So that would make sense, so we could maybe limit it to 10 or something like
Yeah,
that.
or
Mhm.
9 and allow the
Yeah.
party to clean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. I think
Yeah.
that would ensure
Mhm.
that we never run into a situation like that. And then if there's something inspection at some point later that we need to do, we'd have
Yeah.
some room to do this.
Well, again, this has never been a problem.
Right.
It's more, now that we have technology that allows us to break up reservations, you know, do we try to take advantage of capturing more revenue? I mean, that's kind of the.
Yeah. Is this a new reservation system, Cindy?
Yeah.
Yes,
And so have we haven't used it in the past, we don't know how it works. I mean, reliability wise and all that stuff.
oh, yeah, I have no issue with that,
Okay.
so, I mean, it's a locked and loaded system, so.
Hmm.
How much do we charge for the kitchen?
55 for residents, 88 for non-residents.
And is that like for the whole day?
Well, that's the other question,
That is,
is it worth adjusting the rates if you adjust the number of times during the day.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't
My
know.
preference would just keep it as it is.
So if we're trying to add revenue and we say,
Well, if that's the
Well, just to
overriding
give you some
fence.
idea,
Yeah.
just going to an electronic reservation system, we have more than tripled our revenue in the park,
Yeah.
just generally.
Just,
Do you by chance get the information if somebody tries to book on a day that's already booked? Do you find
The
that out?
reservation system just
It doesn't.
doesn't allow.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just.
So similar to a hotel booking,
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
you give the
Just
dates and
nothing,
it only
right.
shows you what's available.
Gotcha.
Which
Okay.
is why people have jumped ahead and reserved in advance,
Right.
because they wanna
And
tie it
currently, the
down.
reservation system doesn't allow people to reserve outside of 1 year. So
Okay.
it's,
Yeah.
what kind
That's
of
fair.
what kind of accountability is there? Do they have to provide any specific information that's identifiable to them? Driver's license, whatever.
There is a field for capturing card information, make, model, and license plate number. But again, it hasn't been an issue, because there's so few spots in the park, and Tim and Ruth would start squeaking if it became a problem,
Right.
so.
And then when
I-
people make reservations, can you tell if they're also camping? Like, does it show?
That would be a separate reservation.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that Tim does squeak about, and you haven't talked about it yet, is there are parties that will leave the kitchen a mess.
Yeah.
He ends up cleaning up. And so I think in my status report, I also
Yeah.
hinted at, you might want to discuss maybe a cleaning,
Yeah.
a refundable cleaning deposit.
Yeah.
That's
But I
exactly
think
right.
Which is what we
I
do
think
at our
exactly
place,
what
yeah.
we should.
And I think capturing
absolutely.
information that the person can identify the person directly, so we
Yes.
can mail them and have them held accountable if something disastrous happens.
Well, just having them put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
Fair.
And
Yeah.
then I guess based on Tim's okay, then, Carla and me would actually refund that amount to their credit card.
Right, right.
So I think that would be nice. So then you could break it up to after I guess lunch and dinner type of events, and try doing 2 reservations per day and see how that goes. And then you would have this, but you'd need that system where we take the deposit, because then at that point, if the person complains who comes next during the next session and they say this is a mess, who are they going to call normally?
It would be Tim.
Okay.
That's just it.
So Tim would go out there.
Actually, Tim would probably, and Tim needs to be part of this discussion.
That's what-
yeah.
So maybe this is not something that you're gonna decide today.
Right.
But, Tim would be the decider.
I think he would help us understand what a good fee would be as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He probably can tell you, since he lives right across from it, whether or not people are all day into the night. Or if they're all ending, if they rent it during the day, does it end at like 4 in the afternoon? Maybe that way you can find out, since there's no record up till now.
Should we make a motion to sort of make an agenda item for the next meeting and invite him to come and be a part, do his advisory role? And we can get that nailed down?
Yeah, as far as the cleanup damage deposit, what we do at the landing is we charge whatever for however much time they've got, and then $250 in a check or cash. And then they get their money back when I come back and go to lock the place up. I give them the white glove inspection, and I've never had a problem.
That's easier than having to deal with credit card transactions.
Yeah,
Again,
and then they,
no touch.
yeah,
No
that's,
touch. Yeah, we don't want them to have to issue checks.
Right. I mean, it's already gonna be a touch for Carla to go in and do the refund,
Yeah.
right,
which
right.
is, a couple minutes. Not
Okay.
a big deal, but.
The only disadvantage I could see to that is that unless that inspection that it's been cleaned up happens right away, otherwise they say, oh, well, we
We
didn't do
did do
that.
that.
Somebody must have come in after us and left it.
Well, again, I think Tim is probably the best person.
That's
to
why
have
I
this
Yeah.
conversation with.
Yeah.
Does the reservation system have a You know, does it shepherd you through the whole block, or does it just like, it's just a booking system? There's not like, we're done with the place, here's some pictures of how we left it, and then they can,
Oh, no.
that sort of, it doesn't go, okay.
No,
That'd be
no.
interesting.
So again, if
Yeah.
Ruth and Tim are on site most weekends,
Yeah.
I think it really is just a matter of them just trotting over and seeing how things are.
It'd be twice a day, basically.
I've done a lot of events there, and they're always there and checking it, and I feel
Yeah.
really good about it.
Yeah, maybe that's the answer then. There's,
And they may not be amenable to this,
Right.
they may not want to, so.
Yeah.
we can have a rough outline for when they come advise us on it, and then just make sure we can get expedience
We
going
definitely
through.
capture this discussion
Yeah.
in notes and then
Yeah.
have them advise, and then have them part of this conversation.
Cindy, is there a way on that? You said no touch, but for them to take a photograph that they cleaned it up and put it onto that, is there a way to
But
do
who'd be
that?
responsible for checking that? Would that be on Tim's
Yeah,
side?
Well, if they were gonna complain and say,
Yeah,
you know,
Or people can be sneaky and take the picture ahead of time.
Yeah,
and-
that's what I was thinking.
Oh, that
It's
happens
easy to
all
get
the time.
around
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
People
Yeah, no,
are sneaky with technology.
Yeah.
I think I think Tim, if he's a part of this, I mean, we can always. So if we keep the fee, how much is the fee right now to do the 24 hours?
55 for residents and 88 for non-residents.
So
Why
we can
that-
keep it
why
exactly
that
the
odd
same
number?
for the two
It's
blocks.
always been that way.
Really?
I think we could keep it the same for both blocks. You get the same benefit. Nothing's really changing
Right.
when you do your event. And then see what Tim has to say about that, because it does seem to me that if he's there all the time and they can both do this, all it takes is a sign off from them to say that
Yeah.
everything's fine.
And the other piece to all of this is that, the kitchen is, again, booked out until September. And then no one books the kitchen during the winter. So
Right.
this is a next year thing anyway, that
Yeah.
we're discussing.
Yeah.
But it's-
Right.
since we're in the throes of migrating, we might as well have a discussion.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And then I think definitely if we implement a deposit, that will go a long way in helping ensure that people clean up so that Ruth and Tim don't have to do that, because that's an issue.
Yep.
And that's the one issue I see with having two blocks or more than one, is putting more work on Ruth and Tim. And if it becomes too much of, if it becomes too onerous for them, I think then we'd have to actually put something to the city to have them get help. And at this point, we
How does
can't
the
do that.
fee get applied if the fee has to be consumed because the place is left a mess? Who takes the money? Who gets that money to clean the place? How does that work? How does it get
It'll go in-
dispersed?
it'll go into the city coffers.
Okay.
So, I
Goes in.
suppose if someone, depending on what the deposit is, sure, you could have, someone on hand. But again, Tim and Ruth are gonna probably do the cleaning because there's someone waiting
Oh.
to use the kitchen right away.
Right, so that's what I was, not like a prize or anything, but I'm wondering, does that work in the way where they say, okay, so if you do have to go outside of your normal duties and clean up the kitchen, there's a $100 money that goes to you for doing that, because we don't expect you to have to do that all the time.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
That way, we'd have to renegotiate their contract.
Yeah.
Because basically, the contract is, there is no money that exchanges hands between the city and Tim and Ruth. They have a place to stay in their RV, and they get internet on the city. And and then in return, they maintain the park.
Yeah, I could totally see the tensions with so I do think maybe it's worth thinking about that and how,
Yep.
and it shouldn't be exclusive to them, it should be, because maybe the city wants to hire somebody who takes care of this, so that money, that allocation should be a generalized thing, it seems.
I mean, it could also be a public works person.
Yeah.
If the schedule is such that the public works person, gets a weekly booking schedule,
To clean.
Jay or John can wander down, a few minutes before our party's ending, just to see how
Yeah.
things are going.
Okay.
That's how I would see it, because this past year, we just recently broke out the budget for the parks.
Correct.
So it would go into the parks fund, general fund, the deposit, and then any expenses that the park incurred as a result of cleaning up, it would come out of that. So then we would just have to determine who's going to be responsible for cleaning. And if it's more than Ruth and Tim can do, and we have to hire somebody or get Public Works to come in, that's where we take it from that bucket.
Right, so Sunday afternoon, the people leave and they leave a mess, then the next morning, Public Works is here on their regular schedule.
Mhm.
And they can go and clean that up. We give them an extra $50 or something for
No,
doing that.
their union, we're going to have to pay them an overtime fee. So we would have to be
Yeah, if
conscious.
it happened outside their hours, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine on a Sunday morning that would be
Yeah,
outside their
yeah.
hours, right? So we'd have to pay them their standard
Sure,
overtime fee.
That should certainly inform the size of the deposit.
Mhm.
Yeah, keep in mind, they do already come in for so they already come in Saturday and Sunday
Mhm.
to do the water testing.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
they are actually at.
They are
before-
there
yes.
already? Oh,
It's
I
usually
didn't know
early in
that.
the morning.
Okay,
I mean, like wicked early in the morning.
okay. Oh, see, there you go, that's good. Okay,
Okay, a lot of good stuff to discuss there.
Absolutely.
yeah.
You got all that? Okay. I'm glad you're taking notes, not me.
I think she's always gonna have it down.
She's got, I don't think we have to worry about her too much.
Okay, let's move on here, unfinished business. Park
Okay.
comp plan.
Nothing, I don't have anything new to report. I have not done anything, it's just been,
Next
Too nice.
item, walk in park.
So that's
Stephanie?
me.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I met with Janine, on, was it yesterday?
I think so.
And we met down at the park, so she was the one that planned it, and she's kind of wanting to take a little bit of a step back. She's still gonna have her hands in it, but I'm gonna be taking a lot of the weight off her shoulders. I did, since it's now, we're trying to focus more on a day in the park. We're working with bringing in a lot of vendors. I just did an event in Centralia for 4th of July, and I actually got to be on the radio. So I made that connection with 104.3, so I'm going to reach out to them and see if they'd be interested in coming. We're going to do a raffle. I already have some raffle items. She's working on music. It sounds like we might have both live music and a DJ, so the walk will start again at 10 like usual, and then she said last year kind of wrapped up around 6. And then the one question that I'm kind of not sure about is we're making this family friendly. We want to really try and include all the new families that have moved to town, and so a lot of popular vendors are the reptile man, the balloon guy, and then the face painting people. We are charging our vendors $25 to be there. However, these people they charge per event, not per person. So I'm not quite sure. I don't feel like it would be fair to ask them to pay to be here when they're not going to be making any money anyway. So I'm not really sure how to go about it with that type of vending. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring it to you and see if we can.
How do they make, so you say they charge per event, so they would charge like Cheese Days, if Cheese Days had an event?
I believe so.
They would-
I mean, it's hard to tell because they don't really get into their financials, but I know that they're not like, they don't have kids come up and, oh, you pet my snake, so I'm
Right.
going to charge you $5.
I'm just
you
wondering
know?
how they make their money.
Usually, yeah. So,
I can't imagine cities would pay that much.
Yeah, so that's where I'm not quite sure, and I have not reached out to them yet just because I wanted to see what you guys'
Right.
thoughts were first.
Okay.
So, I mean, the other thing to consider, just in the little experience I have with the walk in the park, originally it was a fundraiser for the park.
Mhm.
Right?
The reality is, if it brings in $300 a year, that's a good thing, that's good.
Sure.
But that's a drop in the bucket at this point.
Sure.
So I don't know if you want to continue to call it a fundraiser. So maybe it's, it is a walk in the park or day in the park.
So what I have, and I just mocked up, and again, I tried printing out more, but my printer died on me. So I just have the Esther Board, is that right?
Bordy.
8th annual Day in the Park. And again, this is just very mocked up, but it does have the logo that you wanted. All this can be edited. I just wanted to have something to bring to you. And then I used the format from the registration form and the donor form that was already in what you sent me. Just kind of tweaked the language again. This is very, very rough draft. And I did not get to print out
That's
the...
super cute.
Didn't get to print out the vendor form because again, I was trying to do all this. So yeah, and that's where too we were talking, Janine and I were talking yesterday with all the vendors, we can ask them to donate something for the raffle items. You know, I did that at Theater Days. Every vendor, they wanted they wanted you to bring something to the table. And then she also gave me, it's the Christmas in Toledo list and then the 2023 Cheese Days list, so I could start reaching out to as many of these from last year as possible. And then I was also wondering, is there a social media platform that we could also advertise this on? And if so, who is in charge of it?
That'd be the two Toledo groups, probably the most active around here, and so it's just a matter of one of you just.
So it's okay if
Posting.
I post it under my, okay, I just wanted to make sure that that was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then.
Just as long as it's the same information accurately on Lions Club, Vision Toledo, and you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
I do think it's important to call out that the proceeds do go toward improving the park.
Well, and that's
Yes.
where.
Which I like in the logo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's on the donor form. That is one thing I didn't change the language because it still says like it went towards renovating the dump site, and you know there's a couple
Right,
specifics.
those things.
I did not change those.
Yeah.
That's where I wanted to see what I should put there
Right,
instead.
yeah,
So what I'd like to do is really kind of finish the flyer, and I'm gonna go to the Thursday market and give it to all the vendors. I'm gonna give a stack at the grocery store, at the insurance coffee place, at the farmer's insurance. I'm gonna go to every business and give them a stack of these flyers and really try and promote pushing it because I just, you know, the more activities we could get family oriented and getting going. So I'm trying to hit the ground running with this.
yeah.
Okay.
I have a naive question, I guess a newbie question, which was, I've never been to the park. I'm sorry to say I'll go there soon, but
While you're on the board, it's,
are there any paved walkways in the park at all?
It's not
It's a gravel road.
It's a
Yeah.
gravel road.
But it is a walk, you know.
I was
there's-
thinking of chalk drawings for the
It's a-
kids and stuff like that,
No.
but that's not happening on the gravel, so, okay.
there is sidewalks.
Okay.
There are sidewalks from the restroom to the kitchen.
Yeah, and there's horseshoe pits, there's,
The splash pad.
the splash pad, the pavilion's huge.
Yeah, well, the thing that you're talking about with the vendors who are doing like face painting and that kind of thing, that's different than the vendors that are selling something. 'Cause when they
Exactly.
sell
Yeah.
something, that's how they
Yeah.
get
That's
money.
how, yeah,
This is
so,
more of an attraction that we're
Yeah,
paying
Right.
for to have them there.
so, I mean, obviously, we wouldn't charge them the vendor fee, but do we just ask them like, hey, would you, out of the goodness of your heart, wanna do this, like,
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
absolutely. Don't charge them.
Correct.
I would.
So in the past, traditionally, you know, there was just the walk in the park, and there was, you know, T-shirts made, and those T-shirts were paid for by sponsorship on the back of the T-shirts.
and that is another thing that we went over, because in the newer pack, I believe it's from 2017, it said, and I don't know if it actually happened or not, but it was talking about making the registration payment $25. So you're paying $25 to get your shirt. There's the barbecue, like it was kind of like your ticket into the day. So that is something, and if we need, because from the sound of it, she could probably get the shirts for under $10 each.
So what I like about that is that it sort of creates the budget for
Exactly,
the day.
yeah.
And then you can talk about,
Yeah,
I mean, then you're in a little bit of a race if you promise anything to those vendors who are gonna stay there for the day to
Right.
make that purchase price compelling.
right, and then for those, like, we would have to put a deadline on it because we need to know how many shirts to order, so we would have to make the date clear.
Donors, where
You
you're
could still
calling
get-
businesses and trying to get donors on
I
board.
think I'm gonna try, absolutely,
Because that's the only guaranteed budget you'll have going into it. That's the
Yeah.
one that you could, if it came down to having to pay these particular entertainers, I guess, to be there for the day,
yeah.
that's where it would have to come from, right?
Right, and that's where, when I go to, you know, hit every business with flyers, give them the donor form, would you be interested in also being a part of this?
Yeah.
The Lavender Farm, they sound like they would like to be a part of it, I was out there yesterday.
Nice.
So she was writing down all the details, and, Raven's Wind Farm, she is busy that day, but she's donating for a raffle. And then, yeah, I didn't wanna reach out to too many people until I talked to everybody, but I do have a really, not just the list that she gave me, but my own vendor list from, my own personal business that I've got event planners that I can have kind of reach out to their people too. So,
Sounds awesome.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
We need to
yeah.
invite that lady that just was at Vision Toledo. She has a new business and they just got here. Her son, Hair, her last name
Is
is
it the
Hair.
Thai,
Dr.
the Thai
Hair.
food?
No.
She does these paper sculptures that are stacked paper, you know, like you see it in
Oh,
first
yeah.
three dimensions. Yeah.
Okay.
And I
And
think
other
there's,
things too,
yeah.
apparently. I think she has quite a list of things she does.
yeah.
And her son who lives with her, they bought the farm with the big, cement right across on the plate, the ball field.
field.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
And there's another, Shauna Perez. And they,
That's an
they-
impressive lady.
yeah, they bought the property that the threshing bee was on.
This is Sasquatch Farms.
Yeah,
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 Right.
and they very well might want
I will talk to them.
to have a
I'm,
presence there
I have an
because
event with them on the
Yeah,
27th, so.
They're very
um,
community oriented.
Yeah.
they're
Yes.
trying to get.
They're
the
doing
people
an event with the Rose City Astronomy Club.
Yes.
They have connections all over, so,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'll talk to them as well.
But, yeah, no, you want to get going on this.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
next month is August, and then the next month is the event.
No,
Yeah,
like I said, I'm gonna finish up that flyer, tonight or tomorrow. I'll head down to the library and get a bunch printed and start, going around for some sponsors and some, just advertising some flyers out,
Donors, yeah.
flyers out.
So Stephanie, the city will print for you as well.
Okay, great,
Okay.
thanks.
A couple of cautionary notes, and one is, whenever I've started new events, I always kind of go low-key, so that if it doesn't go well,
Well, how's it supposed to go well if you
adjust
stay
it.
low key though?
Yeah, I know.
You're
But
talking
you've
about
under-
under promise, right? Under promise over deliver.
Oh, yeah, I always
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
I always do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking like my cheese ball drop, and so we didn't make a big deal out of it the first year. See, is this gonna be something anybody's even interested in? Yes, they are. But it's already happened last year with Janine with the day in the park and stuff, and so they found that weather was an issue, and then it was all those kind of things. So those are kind of things that you gotta just kind of say, yeah, well,
Oh, yeah.
we do what we can.
Oh,
but,
for sure.
But you're not new at any of this, so unlike me, I was new at all that. So. The other thing is, be careful, don't burn yourself out.
yes.
Yeah, yes, I've seen that happen so many times.
Somebody else that's gonna help you.
Yeah,
Or more than one.
Yeah, it sounds like Janine Washington is on board.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, she was planning on being here today, but something came up.
yeah. Yeah. So,
But
Good.
that's pretty much all I have to say, so I guess I don't really need to make a motion or anything, but I just wanted to update.
good,
That's
yeah.
good.
If anyone does have questions, feel free to reach out.
We've already established the
Mhm.
day.
Daytime.
Yeah.
And
I will-
sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead. You
Do
gotta
we
talk.
need to make sure that we have the pavilion for this day, or has that
That was
already
gonna be
been?
my next part. That was gonna be, we better make sure you've got the,
Like,
reserve the part.
are we gonna try and do this and so it's having a birthday party?
Yeah.
Yeah, great, yeah, a birthday party going on.
That would help.
Is it free on the 7th of September?
Just September 7th, yeah.
Does the park have its own website by any chance? Okay.
Someday, maybe.
Would we
No,
just,
I didn't know, so.
Ooh, can we even add a horseshoe tournament? Cause that, you don't even have to spend any money, there's horseshoe pits right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
There will
And you
be-
could do it for, you could do like kids, you
Yeah.
could do age groups, right?
It is
Yeah.
booked.
It's booked. What's it booked for? I mean, but is it like a small party?
Don't know.
Oh, you
Well,
can't
I
tell
mean,
me.
that's the thing though, is we don't need the kitchen for it. We won't, I mean, that should be fine. And anyways, they could be a part of it and check out the,
So
the
I
show.
noticed
There
that,
you go.
I noticed that the donor form says that the participants, they are gonna do the walk and it's followed by a cookout and a raffle.
that is where the cookout will probably not happen, the raffle will.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about.
Yeah, no, since we're gonna have vendors, we'll probably have food vendors as well.
Okay,
And that's where I was thinking even bump the registration down a little bit since they're not gonna get fed.
I think it's important that we find out who reserved it and for what purpose. If it's a family reunion that takes up the whole park, we got a problem.
It's Kathy Brack, the Sorensen family reunion. It's that day.
Swords?
Sorensen.
Okay.
Sorensen.
That's a big family, yeah. Sorensen's.
Well, I mean, your updated date is not set in stone
No.
yet.
Would people be okay doing Sunday, the 8th? I mean, would Sundays work, or?
Well, is it open?
Yeah.
On Sunday it's open. And the next Saturday?
One moment, please.
I think you definitely want to have it for that, because then it would be, it wouldn't be like the event is this side thing, it would just be the main event.
Right.
So,
Right, yeah.
Saturday the 14th is open.
Oh, so the
Saturday the 14th.
Was there something wrong with
I
that
think
date?
I'm gone, I think I'm not available that day.
I feel like something was wrong with that date when we talked
Yeah,
about
I
it
think-
before.
yeah.
Like, do you remember?
Because it took us a minute to get a date locked in. It's because of the Labor Day, and then there's something at the end.
There was something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some conflict, right?
Yeah.
But Sunday the 8th is open.
Sunday would work.
I like
I
that
like
idea.
that.
Would that be any problem with some of your vendors, you think?
You're
or-
gonna get,
Um,
The
you're gonna
problem-
get churchgoers not showing up until
Yeah.
afternoon, so
Yeah.
the walk might be light.
Yeah,
That's true.
Um,
that is true.
But it is what it is.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
I think you better move it to the
Okay.
8th rather than sharing it with a big family.
Do we need to make a motion for that then?
Just to solidify it for you
Yeah.
guys.
Okay, so I make a motion to move it to move the day in the park to September 8th at the same time.
Yeah, it's Sunday, yeah.
Maybe.
What time's it gonna start?
10. The walk usually they say starts from 10, and it's not like a 5K. It's not. They're just doing the park, so they kind of leave it open till noon for people to do the walk, and then it switches into the vending. Well, the vendors are there the whole time, but that's when it more focuses. And then there's music pretty much the whole time as well.
Okay.
And we might need more music too. So
Okay.
Well-
Cindy, maybe we better block in, I know you said you can only do it for a year, but maybe we better plan on blocking it in for next year.
The 7th, that Saturday?
Yeah.
No, well, we can do that, yeah. See how this all goes, assuming it goes well, then
Yeah.
it's the Saturday
Did anybody
after
second
Labor
that
Day.
motion?
I second it.
Okay.
Sorry,
No, that's okay.
Carly, you gotta keep us on track. And we could vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Sure.
Aye.
Go ahead on her, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
well, Stephanie, don't hesitate
Yeah,
to connect
reach
with
out
us.
to
Yeah.
I
us,
will. I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, or does that have to be done on official emails and blah, blah, all that?
What needs to be?
If
Any
we're not-
help that goes
If
on?
she just
needs
needs
help.
help,
Yeah.
she can just reach out to us.
Well, I know that you have a lot of connections with businesses that I don't, so maybe if I just give you some flyers and you can help me pass them out. And
Yeah.
Also, there is gonna be live music on Thursday night
okay,
for this big deal they're doing for the Cheese Day. So you might check.
isn't
with
it Chris
those.
Gunther?
Uh,
I
no,
believe?
no,
Okay.
no, this is high school kids,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And that are, as I understand, quite good, so.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay.
They
What
may
about
have
getting a banner for the banner
Uh-huh.
thing, you know, to announce it, because a lot of people don't know. The way they find out is through passing through town and seeing what's happening.
Oh, yeah, okay.
See, we just put a banner up for wine and cheese
And where do you
tasting.
get them made at?
On Warren West. I don't, get them made online, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of,
Go for the cheapest place.
Right.
yeah, yeah. And don't, yeah, just say, how are you gonna say that? So you could use it year after year.
Sure.
Maybe just say it's the big deal and then we stick something else on there for this year.
Oh, but this year's gonna be a different day than next year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It makes it tough.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, we
you
could
can,
always just say the first Saturday, or,
Day after tomorrow.
yeah. I don't know, I'll think about that.
this weekend, yeah, because you're not gonna put the banner up all
That's good.
summer. Yeah, you
Okay.
put it up the weekend before.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So this
Okay.
year we'll do the Sunday, but then the following years we'll go back to the Saturday.
yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
But, you know, you can get them for $20.
yeah, oh yeah,
So if you
Yeah.
really just discard it this year,
Okay.
you know,
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, they're not that expensive. announcement.
Okay.
And check out the size that we have already on that announcement fence thing. Do
Okay,
you know where I'm talking?
I do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you know where you got it?
I
Or was it
Oh,
just
I
been a
know.
long time?
don't.
I buy enough stuff.
Yeah,
It's
they're,
like
All right.
garbage.
they're.
I know how to get the deals.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And the 8 is blocked out.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
good, thank you. Okay, anything else? Sounds like you're doing a great job on that, and
Yes.
anytime you need any,
Whatever you need, you let us
Thank
know.
you.
I might have stuff hidden away in my, like I made up a poster last year for the day in the park,
Okay.
and it was colorful and all that.
Yeah, I'm super bummed the colorful one didn't print out because it's way
Yeah.
cuter.
It is cute. It's cute. I saw it. It's cute. Yeah.
Yes, if you need anything, maybe you could also CC all of us in an email. the
Absolutely.
The things you need to get done.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
I will
yeah.
definitely delegate some tasks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay, other business, mandatory classes.
Yeah, so there's just some classes that are passed through, so I'm gonna be sending emails just to remind you guys to just check your emails weekly or whatever.
Okay. Thank you.
What do you mean mandatory?
That you have to do it.
You're,
Do I have to go
Unless
there?
it officials.
No, it's online.
Oh, so
I got my first certificate last night.
oh, yeah, I got mine online.
the Open Meetings Act that you violated.
Yeah.
As you said,
If I had just said, I suggest that we do this on
No, you didn't,
Friday.
you moved.
I
You
said I
moved.
That's the way we used to do
You
things in the old days.
Actually
Just
moved. Yeah.
Get on with it, let's just do it. Okay,
Poor Mike got peppered with
no,
three
Jesus.
separate people.
Yeah.
Stop.
do that again.
What the hell are you doing?
Okay, like anybody pays attention to that anyway. Okay,
Here, oh,
public input, miss. Yeah.
Yes.
Is-
Okay, so just, like.
You got
you're
3
updating, this
minutes.
is-
3 minutes. Yeah. Remember 3 minutes.
And they slapped my wrist. Okay, and I will try to do that. I had a meeting, it's been very challenging working on the ADA playground. It's been one thing after the other, setbacks after setbacks. So I have some questions for you and some things I need to update you on. I have applied for a grant. I finally got an interview with the Cowlitz Tribe, which is prior to you being able to apply for a grant. So I have applied for a grant, and the max amount is half of the overall amount of the project, or $75,000, which is ever. So the grant is for $55,000 is my request. I have a worry that the hotel motel grant that I got could elapse because I don't know if I can get this project done by the end of the year. Shooting for that, but don't know. Originally, from my understanding, it would be quarterly, so had to have this in by June for the tribe to be able, foundation, but that's not the case. They are reviewing in September, October, so that sets me back even farther. Wasn't able to use the Lions Club because they weren't able to comply with everything that was required in the grant, and so went to Vision Toledo, and we've used them as the person. Has to be a nonprofit, the city cannot apply, and have explained to them that we are a partnership to get this project done. Lions, Vision Toledo, and the city who owns the park. So that's where I am with the grants. My understanding through them was that's a historic property and they might require an archaeologist. I checked into that because I've had to have archaeologists on a lot. The price is $10,500. However, I also investigated that further, and if you get state money, then you have to comply with having an archaeologist on site to scrape the ground for the 6 campsites, or if I even want to put a hole in the ground for the kiosk. So, yeah, it got very complicated. So we do not have to comply with that. I will invite because at this point, we're not getting a grant. I've ixnayed that because it just starts, everything is just becoming more and more complicated. every single person that I had to deal with had something else on. So, we're not going to have to comply with that, but I will invite their, through both the, they call it, historic preservation officer to come down, so that should help. I checked with the Department of Archaeology, he would not meet the requirements legally for the state. He is not an archaeologist, but he would be
There's your
the
time.
person for, is that 3 minutes?
There's your time.
Sorry, yes, so.
No, kidding.
Finish up.
Yeah, so we'll invite him when it's gonna be done, that part of it. Finally, on the replacement parts, as of today, they finally let me know they will be coming, on the 29th of July to do all
Okay.
the replacement parts.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so finally, yeah. And that is installing them and everything. I don't need to have any equipment here, don't need to have anything else there, other than we need to make sure that the kids aren't there. You know, there's no
Okay.
kids trying to use them,
Yeah.
which either I will be there or I will ask somebody from Public Works to be there at 8 AM
Mhm.
to, you know, so we have somebody on site saying, okay,
Yeah.
you know, if
Mhm.
anything odd should happen.
What day of the week is that?
It's a
I
Monday.
think it's a Monday.
Yeah, it's a Monday. So, let's see here. So I am going to try and apply for, signage on the freeway, and I'm gonna start by trying to apply, it's called motorist information signs, and I'm gonna apply for the Wiggle Stop and see how that goes, because if I get the Wiggle Stop, I don't have to put 6 more tent sites in. Yeah,
That
they
takes care
have
of a
been
lot.
very difficult with that. If I put that it's a park, then I have to have 6 more. To have a camping sign on the freeway, we need the 6 more. I got a new update on their list, says 20 spots.
Whoa!
Oh, very
So
good.
that's only 4. We have 16, and I would
Oh.
not need 6
Total.
new.
Oh, I
I
think more.
only need 4 new.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that changed that information. And thank you, Renee gave me this, and it's ADA handicap, but you'll notice I pinked up the price, $283, you can just send it down. And this, I don't know why it's saying 180, 860.
It's an
It's
88
actually
compliant picnic table.
$182
Oh, I see.
online. So this one is portable, so we have to figure out how to bolt it down. So,
The steel.
if I have to get those,
That looks pretty good.
yeah, the lady from Sasquatch Farm, when I needed 6, said that she'd go with me. And to Portland, we wouldn't have to pay to have it shipped, so that would be free shipping.
Yeah.
All the other handicap things are around $1,000, so this is a
Good.
huge
Nice.
difference in price.
Make sure you
Okay.
keep all the receipt stuff, obviously. The good part about it, that even if it's a product that's made maybe a little bit with materials that are a little cheaper, because it's Granger, they'll replace and fix whatever needs to happen, so.
It says,
Yeah, it did.
$860.09, and then it says $182.
I just wrote that on there because the website says 182, and I don't know why it flashed up today because I've been investigating it. So I don't know what the reasoning is for that. Yeah, it
Keep
won't be a
those.
problem because the city will be paying for it, or Vision Toledo. That's been one of my challenges, is that one of the people that pledged money, one of the groups that pledged money has not come through. And I'm waiting till after Cheese Days, and I will ask again, but it's,
This is the Cheese Day group?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're reorganizing that group.
So I
Okay.
thought you would like to look too. Okay, so to put it on the freeway, it'd be $683 annually for signage on the freeway if the Department of Transportation approves it.
If it just says wiggle stop,
Yep,
if it says park, then that's different.
well, at park, for a sign, the problem comes in, are they gonna make me pay for the whole new installation of a sign? There's room on there.
Mhm.
And my dealings with the gentleman that's the head of this zone area was that, he felt he would like to have another sign, so, yeah. there is room, and he's very understanding, he came from a small town, and so, and as you know, I'm a professional whiner and sniveler, so we'll see. Let's see here.
I'd love to compliment you on that
Yeah.
skill, but you know, that it just doesn't sound right.
It's getting, so I think that's, oh, and the one other thing, one of the compliance things that I have to have is a kiosk. That was one of the things to get the hotel motel. It would be a lot easier if we can just attach it to the building, so
There
one
is a
of the
kiosk in the park.
Yeah, with the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
The
board?
information-
The
that
information board?
No,
That isn't compliant?
well, not for what they want brochures and event things from
Oh, I
all over
see.
the city, and it has to have a brochure, right?
Oh,
I see.
Yeah, so
okay.
it's for tourism.
I see.
Gotcha.
A tourism stop, okay.
Yeah, so that will be at the playground. I'd love to have it two-sided, but we're talking astronomical
Yeah.
amounts of money. And if we wouldn't have to have somebody dig the holes, if we can put it on the back of the bathroom where people can just see it, and then the brochure holders, the weight would be a lot less for me to have it shipped. So how does the board, and I don't know if that has to go to city council, do they care? I don't know, I think that seems like a decision for the park board.
I don't know, Lions Club does stuff all the time to things, and we don't ever talk to anybody about it. We just do it.
Carly's like, oh.
I think the only
the heck?
reason that you would put it in front of city council
And the
is
cost.
if you're, well, there's but the grant is covering that cost.
Oh,
So
yes.
it's a- But
Okay.
it's a reimbursement.
Right.
Yeah.
So but this grant has already been approved by council, correct?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's,
Okay.
I'm sorry, so back to my original
Yeah.
comment.
yeah,
The only reason that I would think that you would want to put it in front of city council is if you're transferring responsibility of maintenance. So if you're expecting city hall or public works to keep the brochures
Mhm.
straight
Mhm.
and replenished and
Mhm.
yeah.
then
And I
you're,
don't think we would. I mean,
so,
yeah,
Go by once in a while
yeah.
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 and make sure they're straight.
The idea, I think, where Discovery Lewis County is kind of heading towards is that other areas would get recognition, be spreading other events to everyone.
Yeah, Discover Lewis County is doing that, yeah.
Right, but I think what they might start doing, we'll see, is somebody from Morton will send to the city, print out one. And then you call me or somebody and we'll just, the next time we're in town, put it up on the thing,
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it shouldn't be a problem, and we have a bunch of brochures that we've paid for, that we actually have, and you can't put them out, so we don't even have a place to put them. So that could go in there as well, and that would finally start, being a showcase for things for here too. So, you think it's okay? Then, it'll be down the road by the time I get it ordered and get
Reach out to Sherry
Okay.
and see what she
Yeah.
thinks.
Okay,
Yeah.
Joe, let me see what that thing looks like that you're gonna order.
oh, I didn't do one of that.
Yeah, yeah, just email me.
Okay,
later,
yeah.
Yeah, because,
Are you thinking you could make one?
well, I made 4 of them before, and,
Okay.
but they don't hold a huge amount of stuff, but they certainly could. They could be modified,
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
could save whatever.
Yeah, because the money is becoming an issue,
Yeah,
because it's been hard not to get the grants. And if I'm not going for state grants, then, yeah,
mhm, yeah, yeah.
it's just been problems, a lot of problems.
Okay.
But I'm still working on it and I'm not giving up on it, so
Good,
Excellent. Okay.
I think I've covered everything.
okay.
I'll change your 2 adjectives to relentless and cunning.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, Mary, anything else?
Nothing else for me.
Anything else?
Nope.
Anything else? Okay, I'd like to just say that I'd like to give a good pat on the back to the Public Works people for cleaning up Steamboat Alley. for putting in the stop signs and the stop lights. I know they didn't do that, but,
You can thank
still.
Steve and Carol Birch for that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's
They were
awesome.
relentless and.
Yes.
And it's
Wonderful.
frustrating
Yeah.
for them.
It's been a
Relentless
3-year
cunning, yeah.
slog.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I
kidding.
found those signs super helpful coming down the road today. It was just
Yeah.
a nice,
Yeah.
okay, because that switch, that transition is very sudden. You always
Yeah.
speed a little, but this
Yeah.
helps so much.
Oh, well, owning a business right there and seeing people go through it 35 miles an hour.
Just stand out there and watch.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that are still blowing through.
Oh,
it.
sure.
Uh,
Today
They'll
is the
have to
first
get rid
day,
of
isn't it?
Yeah. they'll
This
have to
is
get
the
used
first
to it.
day, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
First
the
day,
first, yeah.
Yeah, so, but it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
So I was like, why is somebody stopping? Oh, there's a sign.
Yeah.
Well, the next stage is the pictures and then the bill. For the
Yeah.
ticket. Then they'll slow down.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed a radar sign up on the 25-mile-an-hour sign by
There are
Betty's.
both ends of town. It's
I
temporary
just-
through cheese days.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's the one I was actually talking about. That was super helpful.
Oh,
Yeah.
the year speed.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks.
Those are
Yes,
temporary.
that's what I wanted to say on the record. That was.
Why?
At some point, at
Why are
some
they
point-
temporary? Yeah.
Well, they're expensive.
Yeah.
one, And
Okay.
yes, the city could buy some.
Yeah.
It just hasn't, it's fallen out of the budget a couple of times, so
Yeah.
it just needs to be,
I think there
Because
is
it's
a
a
term.
state highway, wouldn't the state? No?
not without them holding their hand out.
See, here's one of the things that I've heard already, a bunch of people, and I said, well, look at it this way. We got a stoplight there and stop signs without having anybody killed.
Yeah.
That's remarkable on a state highway. They
Yes,
don't
it
do
is.
that unless somebody dies or a handful of people. If you wipe out a class of first graders, then, okay, we
Well,
better put
so, just to give you a little bit of the backstory, Carol Birch actually walked every town in Washington with similar populations and researched every flippin' stop in those areas and came up with 17 or 20. And that was the argument in the letter to
Yeah, don't say we
WashDOT.
never do this, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because WashDOT kept pushing back, saying we can't put a stop sign on a state highway, and she said,
Yeah.
oh, really?
She's
Hold my
awesome.
beer.
That is so good. I love that.
Yeah, they are relentless.
Well, and
Yeah.
part of the problem too is that the state considers when it hits the town, it is now the town's responsibility. So getting them to pay for those traffic things, saying the speed limit that you're talking about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're gonna look at the city to do that.
Yeah, right,
So
yeah.
they're about $8,000 a piece and another few grand to install, so.
Yeah.
But
At some point, there'll be budget for it.
yes, and we know that there's going to be police equipment coming up in rural grants. I wanna say next year, I believe, the funding is next year. So
That's a good one.
that is rural USDA, it's coming up.
Yeah, I think those signs are good
It's on
investment.
Joe's radar.
No,
No
absolutely.
pun
I mean,
intended.
you slow down, you see it.
You slow down, everybody sees what speed you're going, it's an immediate, oh,
And then you speed up again.
yeah, well,
It's the thought that counts. yeah. Okay, well, and of course, Mary with the planners and Stephanie with the walk in the day and Renee with helping out with the wine and cheese thing and, yeah.
Good.
And
Thank
Carly
you, Mike, for everything.
for coming and taking notes. Okay. Move to adjourn?
I move. That we adjourn.
Yeah.
second.
Moving second?
I actually, you know, with the
We got
stop sign, I was
Barely.